Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody which doesn't infringe the copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
Rainbow TV.
To all African American men that asked whether or not they can find themselves good wives in Africa, yes, 100% you can find yourselves good wives in Africa. I'm sure you can find yourself a good wife anywhere in the world. But if you're moving to Africa, 100%, I can tell you now that Africa has of the most beautiful women, of the most kindest, understanding women, 100%. But here's a tip, right? When you do come to South Africa or you come to Africa, the 50-50 thing that you guys do that side, leave it there. Leave it there. Please understand that the feminist movement, our ability to participate in it is very limited due to our traditions and our culture, so culture and traditions supersede any participation in any movement, the feminist movement being one of it. So it's probably not a bad idea to leave that 50-50 in the States. Because, you will also see that there's a video that I did of a gentleman that had asked whether or not Africans like African American men. And if you go to the post, you will read that a lot of women said no due to the fact that they do not want to do 50-50. Now, this does not mean that we do not have good women. It just means that at the end of the day, culture is important, And as women, we do understand that we need to be supportive, understanding, loving, and caring towards our husbands, and we will do that. We also understand that we need to work together towards a common goal, which is to make the marriage work. And we will work, and we will help, and we will support. But the 50-50 thing is not a prerequisite for the relationship. I'm just letting you know. And if there's an African or a man that tells you that we do 50-50 in Africa, unamanga. They are lying to you. Do not listen to them. I'm telling you now, they are lying to you. And I'm sure there's a lot of women that can back me on this. The 50-50 thing, it's not an African thing. Tradition will always supersede everything else. I'm just letting you all know. I'm just, you guys asked me for advice. I'm giving you advice. This is a tip from me to you, so that you can come and you can get yourself good wives. Now, I wouldn't want you to miss out on an opportunity to meet a good wife just because now you have asked her to split the tip or split the bill for a date that you asked her on. Now she needs to pay for her food. No, guys, no. No, don't do that. You might just miss out on a really good wife. So don't say that Samantha didn't tell me. I did. I'm telling y'all now. Do not ask an African woman for 50-50. And if any other African man or men have told you that, it's a lie. It's a lie.
We got to unpack this entire thing. Ringo TV reactions. We in the building. Let's react to this. Let's go.
To all African American men that asked whether or not they can find themselves good wives in Africa, yes, 100% you can find yourselves good wives in Africa. I'm sure you can find yourself a good wife anywhere in the world.
Well, why Africa? If we can find a good wife anywhere in the world, why Africa? And why you don't have a husband? If you're this good, if you're this great, where's the results? Not only where are the results with you, but where is the result with the majority of women that are in Africa? Why African men are not wifing them up? See, what I find is that we live in a time where it's like everybody is trying to divest. You'll have African women wanting guys from the United States. You have guys from the United States wanting to fly overseas with passports. Then you got BWs talking about they divesting. So it seems like everybody is chasing somebody from another group, but nobody is trying to get with each other in their hometown. And I find that to be very, very suspect, because if Africa have all of these great wives, these great potential women, then why the men in the region are not dealing with them? What exactly is going on? Let's react to this.
But if you're moving to Africa, 100%, I can tell you now that Africa has of the most beautiful women, of the most kindest, understanding women.
Well, if they have the most kindest and the most beautiful women, why aren't these women wives? Why? See, I like to ask questions because I don't trust nobody. Everybody's all talk, but no results.
100%. But here's a tip, right?
What's the tip you have?
When you do come to South Africa or you come to Africa, the 50-50 thing that you guys do that side, ne?
I don't know about no 50-50 thing that you guys do or whatever, who you're talking about. The 50-50 thing is not a man thing. The 50-50 thing is what women do in America. Men don't play anything about 50-50. You understand? See, a lot of you guys, you don't even understand that even women that are in Africa don't understand their roles. They don't even have any traditions. You understand? Keep listening.
Leave it there.
She's telling you to leave it there. She's already done telling you what to do and how to be a man. Because in her mind, she's expecting that when you come to Africa, you're expecting her to have some sort of mentality of 50-50 in terms of her providing half of the bills and this and that. So basically, she's looking for a man to pay her way at this point. Are you brothers getting a virgin? Are you brothers getting a virgin African woman that is pure? See, nobody don't want to talk about that. See, here on Ringo TV Reactions, we're going to have to deal with the real issues. And we're trying to point them out. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't like to hear the truth.
Leave it there. Please understand that the feminist movement,
Listen, everybody's talking about the feminist movement. You ladies are grown, you're adults. Let's stop playing games. The feminist movement this, the feminist movement that. Ladies make their own choices in today's day, and they use the so-called powers that be and all the systems and all the things that are in place to benefit for themselves. And when it's convenient for them, they withdraw from it and try to act like they were never a part of it. When I can guarantee you, and this very same woman on the screen was younger, I can guarantee you she was all involved in the feminist movement. Now she's in her 40s. I can look at her and I can tell she is in her 40s.
Ability to participate in it is very limited due to our traditions and our culture, so culture and traditions supersede any participation in any movement, the feminist movement being one of it.
So if it's that way, why aren't African men wifing up African women? Why that's not happening? Why aren't the African women loyal to the African men? Why are African women entertaining, giving some sort of advice to men that are in America? See, this goes back to what I've been talking about on how men are very quick to listen to women for advice. I could just imagine how many guys are sending her questions on how can I get with an African woman to make her a wife. This is what guys in America are doing because they're thirsty, because they can't find women in all of America. They can't find women. So they're trying to get themselves an African wife. But yet the women that are in Africa can't seem to find an African husband. Isn't that, I mean, are you all seeing the point here?
So it's probably not a bad idea to leave that 50-50 in the States.
She's telling you to leave the 50-50 in the States like men are really out here trying to go 50-50. Men are trying to be traditional. We've tried all of that. The problem is women are not traditional in today's day. They claim that they're boss chicks. They're not willing to submit. And the way I judge women is I judge them based off of the practice of polygyny. Once I bring up the subject of polygyny, if I see a woman buck dancing and fighting against that and talking about, well, I'm not into that, I'm not doing this, the first thing I ask her, are you a virgin? No, I'm not no virgin. How many guys you been with sexually? She starts literally getting red. Why? Because she realized that she already done shared herself with everybody. But yet when I talk about a man having more than one wife, she want to act like, oh, I'm not into sharing. But yet she shared her body already. So what I do, I go my way because I don't have time to waste. And I can guarantee you, if you talk to these same women that are in Africa, it's the same thing. They're going to put the traditional feminist ways of monogamy on you brothers. Trust and believe that.
Because, you'll also see that there's a video that I did of a gentleman that had asked whether or not Africans like African American men.
I mean, think about that. Do Africans like African men? They have to make a video to prove whether or not. This is crazy. But yet we got guys getting passports going to Colombia and DR and Brazil.
And if you go to the post, you will read that a lot of women said no due to the fact that they do not want to do 50-50.
So let me get this straight. So women in Africa are basically saying they don't like men that are in America because they don't want to do the 50-50 thing, as if though men are coming to them with the 50-50 thing. That whole 50-50 idea is something created by women in America. It's been created by women that want to uphold what the world teach in terms of feminism. And this is something that women have done. Men didn't teach this. Men didn't start the 50-50 rule. We didn't do that. Men have always been traditional. It's women who came forward with this 50-50 thing because they want to be a man. They want to be a boss chick. They want to pay their own bills. They claim they don't need a man.
Now, this does not mean that we do not have good women. It just means that at the end of the day, culture is important, you know.
Culture is important. That sounds nice. I commend you for that. Do your culture as a woman in Africa, do you support a man having more than one wife? Because if you are anti-polygyny, no guy should even entertain you. Because none of you are virgins. None of you are 100% pure. And that's a fact. So I'm not going to buy in Africa are the most beautiful this and the most beautiful that and the most loyal this and their wife ready. I'm not buying none of that because I don't trust none of you, because I understand human nature. And I understand that the United States of America have literally influenced the entire globe. So every country has been affected by feminism. And I find it interesting that women that are in their 40s are now trying to act like they're speaking on behalf of women in Africa in terms on trying to promote them as eligible wives for men in America, while not realizing that the majority of these men that are in America are whoremonger males who just want to pump and dump. These guys have no interest in marrying a woman, but they'll say that because their goal is to sleep with the woman. That's their goal. Because if a man is going to come to Africa and make a woman his wife, is he going to remain in Africa or is he going to bring her back to the States? See, nobody don't want to have that discussion.
And as women, we do understand that we need to be supportive, understanding, loving, and caring towards our husbands.
That sounds nice. Are you doing that towards an African man in Africa? That's when we hear this. See, that's the problem.
You know, and we will do that. We also understand that we need to work together.
That sounds nice. Work together. Are you willing to work together with another woman as a sister wife in a situation where a man is practicing polygyny? Because if you're not, then you're not wife material. Don't tell me that you're a good woman if you don't understand culture.
It's a common goal, just to make the marriage work.
That's the common goal, to make the marriage work. The marriage is not going to work when you're trying to dictate the rules. You can't dictate the rules in terms of what a man can or can't have. So as an African woman, if you are entertaining getting with a man from America to be a wife, then you must be accepting of his traditions, his values. That's what you must adapt to. But you're trying to make a man adapt to you. That's a red flag.
And we will work, and we will help, and we will support.
That sounds nice. Will you support and help and be a traditional wife under polygyny? Because if you're not going to do that, you're a waste of time. I could care less how beautiful a woman is. If she's not cooperative, she is a waste of time.
But the 50-50 thing is not a prerequisite for the relationship.
See, she's focused on 50-50 because for some odd reason, she believes that that is what men do in America. Now, what this speaks volumes of, in my humble opinion, is that the majority of men that are talking to these women in Africa, they're coming to these women with this mindset of 50-50. These men are doing that. So these women are concerned about men that are focused on that. They're looking for a guy to just take care of them, especially if you're coming from America. Their mindset is on the fact that you guys got money, you got resources, and you're doing better than the men that are in Africa. Because if these women were really that great, why they're not wives to the African men? And these are the things that I've always questioned. I always question women when they talk a good talk, but yet they don't have the results.
I'm just letting you know. And if there's an African man or a man that tells you that we do 50-50 in Africa, unamanga, they are lying to you.
Now notice, she says if an African man tell you that the African women do the so-called 50-50 thing, she said that they're lying to you. Now, why would she be telling you that? Because based on what she's saying, based on what I'm seeing, is that there seems to be some sort of conflict between African women and African men, similar to the same drama that's going on in the States with black men and black women. And it seems as though the African women in Africa are desiring to get with an African American man. Do you see how that works? But they're not getting with their own men for whatever reason. So she's concerned that maybe an African man is going to try to tell you brothers that women in Africa are just as much of a feminist as women in America. Let's go.
Do not listen to them.
She said, do not listen to them.
You know, they're lying to you.
Wow. She said they're lying to you.
And I'm sure there's a lot of women that can back me on this.
Why is she concerned about them lying? Could it be possible that the African men are telling the truth? Could it be possible that the African men are going through the exact same thing you brothers are dealing with here in America with the modern woman? See, a lot of you guys, you tend to look at every other country around the world and think everything is gold, not realizing that the men in these regions deal with the same similar issues that you deal with. This is why she's telling you what she's telling you. It could be very well that the African men are trying to guide you brothers and tell you the truth. But just like us here in the States, you want to fly to go overseas to find a wife, not realizing that the grass is not greener on the other side.
The 50-50 thing, it's not an African thing.
It's definitely not an African thing, but Africa has been influenced by everything in America. We could see this on social media with African women shaking their behind, twerking, dancing, doing all sorts of crazy stuff online. Are those the traditions of African people? Why is it that they're doing the same exact things that are done in the States, in America?
Tradition will always supersede everything else.
That sounds nice. Is one of your traditions understanding that a man can have more than one wife? Is that a part of your traditions? Or are you on that, oh, I don't share a man, I'm into monogamy, and I want you to just be with me only? Because that's not going to be the case. Because I can guarantee you that many African men want more than one woman. And a lot of African women are probably like, look, we're going to take on some of that Americanized feminist type stuff of keeping a man trapped under monogamy. Trust and believe that, brothers.
I'm just letting you all know. I'm just, you guys asked me for advice. I'm giving you advice.
So you guys, you asked her for advice? You guys? Wow.
It's a tip from me to you.
So you asked a woman for advice, but you didn't ask the men of Africa. Wow.
So that you can come and you can get yourself good wives. Now,
good wives. If they were good wives, they should be wives already. How are they good wives if they're single? How are they good wives if they're single right now?
I wouldn't want you to miss out on an opportunity to meet a good wife just because now you have asked her to split the tip or split the bill for a date that you...
Split the bill for a date? And you're an African woman? Do you see, brothers, how the feminist movement and all of the traditions in America and all the madness has literally went to Africa too? We're talking about African women talking about a date rather than them cooking for you brothers. Wow, this is amazing. Absolutely amazing. You would think that an African woman from South Africa would be cooking for a man for a date. But no, she's talking about bills and splitting the bills, about they're not really into a man splitting the bill. So they expecting you to pay for the whole bill, basically. So they're expecting you to simp just like the guys do in America. So basically it's the same thing going on in Africa. Just like I told you. Wow.
You asked her on... Now she needs to pay for her food.
Notice that she said you asked her on the date, so you got to pay for the date. So now she got to pay for her food. In other words, they're not into that. But why don't she cook for you? Why don't she show you that she's wife material? But they're not doing that.
No, guys, no.
Wow.
No, don't do that. You might just miss out on a really good wife.
So you're going to miss out on a really good wife if you took her on a date and tell her, look, you got to pay half of the bill. So she's going to basically judge you based on the fact that you wanted her to pay half. So she's not willing to pay half, even though she just got something to eat for free. So she's basically doing the same thing that women in America are doing. She say that she's not with the 50-50 thing. Okay, that sounds cool. But you're wanting the man to pay for the whole date. So you want him to pay for everything. You ain't trying to give him anything. So you just got a whole date for free and you didn't give that man nothing. They're operating under the same traditions in America. If this woman spoke for the African women and she's really honest and truthful, then the African women should be cooking for a man for a date to show that they are truly different from women in America. I rest my case. Facts.
So don't say that Samantha didn't tell me. I did. I'm telling y'all now. Do not ask an African woman for 50-50. And if any other African man or men have told you that, it's a lie.
Wow. You see that? So she's basically telling you when you go to Africa, if you take a woman out on a date, make sure you pay the whole bill, right? Pay the whole bill like a simp. You ain't getting nothing in return. She ain't cooked for you. She didn't do nothing for you, but you just paid the whole thing, right? They're doing the same thing that they're doing in America, bro. The same way women are in America is the same women are all over the globe. They want you to pay for everything.
It's a lie.
And these are the same women that be independent. I don't need a man. I can do bad by myself. I'm a boss chick. These be the same kind of women, brothers. Anyway, it's a wrap. I'm out of here, fam. Leave your comments, feedback. Let me know what you think of the video. Also, subscribe to the channel today and give the video a thumbs up to show your appreciation for the work that we do. If you want to support via Cash App, $ Ringo TV Raw. I'm out, fam. Peace.
If you like our content, consider supporting via Cash App at $ Ringo TV Raw. Become a patron on patreon.com for exclusive video content not shown on YouTube. You could also support through PayPal at paypal.me/Ringo TV Raw. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified of new content. Follow me on Instagram at Ringo TV Raw.
This is Ringo TV Reactions, the only channel on YouTube bringing you the truth 100% raw and uncut. I'm out. Peace.